Brandon Collins. You've seen him on MTV, VH1, and the Medium Popcorn Podcast. Brandon Collins, come on out.
Microphone on the floor. Hey, what's up, guys? I'd like to first start out by telling you guys I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to declare myself sober. It's been 24 hours. Feeling very good. The problem is, all right, I blame my drinking issues on like being raised in the suburbs. I was raised around white people. So I never learned how to moderate my drinking. I black out a lot. Worst thing about blacking out after a heavy night drinking is waking up with more money than you start the previous night out with. Because then you're like, what the fuck did I do for this extra $20? My mouth is sore. It's tough, man. It's tough because I'm trying to come to terms with alcoholism. Like, I'm thinking it might actually be a thing for me. But the thing is, with the black community, we don't talk about alcoholism. We don't even refer to it as that. We call it turning up. And no one wants to treat turning up. That sounds like too much fun. Until it turns really bad. It's like, oh yeah, Rodney down the corner? Yeah. He used to turn up all the time. He used to turn up so much he lost his kids. A lot of things going on, man. A lot of issues. I think it's in my family. Like, I think my grandfather suffers from alcoholism. Or he might just be going a little cuckoo. He's getting old, you know. I was down in Florida with him recently, and we were drinking whiskey and watching CNN, as black folks do. Obama came on TV to talk about his last few months of his presidency, and immediately after Donald Trump came on and said he's the leader of ISIS, and my grandpa said, politics are fucked up. The black one crazy, the white one crazy, put them in a bag and shake it. And I was like, what? Papa, it's 2016, what you say has to make sense, or I have to put you somewhere. That's how America works. I'm worried about you. But one night he got real with me, he got emotional. We were drunk as fuck, and he was like, Brandon, me and Nana, we been married over 40 years. She's my best friend. And one day, God just took her away. But that's life. And that's love. And I was just like, waiting room, top shot, Papa. Just to hear, watching Padme, and now I'm sad. But now sometimes I find myself looking at my girlfriend like, one day God's going to take you away. She's like, what you say, Brandon? I'm like, nothing. Take her now, God. Take her now. I should be happy that I have a girlfriend. I used to strike out so bad with the girls. Because I'm 5'6" now, which means I had to grow into this. So I used to be this little midget at these middle school dances trying to ask these tall warlocks to fucking dance with me to Savage Garden and Casey and JoJo and shit. And I'd be motivating myself like, Brandon, worst thing they could say to you is no. Worst thing they could say is no. Turns out, worst thing they would say is, ew, get the fuck away from me, you black elf creature. That hurts a lot more than no. I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I grew up in the suburbs. And because of the way I carry myself and my interests, it was weird for me because I was too black, they hang out with the white kids, too white, they hang out with the black kids. But I moved to New York, and I was fully embraced. And I was like, have I just been Spanish this whole time? I feel so at home. Everyone's so cool here. I was always in the weird shit. I was always in the fantasy shit. Like, I love Game of Thrones. Any Game of Thrones fans in here? Game of Thrones. A lot of black people clapping at that shit. And that's crazy because the media, 2 years ago, President Obama came out as an avid fan of Game of Thrones, and the media lost their fucking minds. It's like, why wouldn't black people like Game of Thrones? We have a hashtag on Twitter called Dem Thrones. Come on. Dragons, titties, dwarfs, these are universal themes. But I used to have like 5 minutes of Game of Thrones. But then I did this urban show up in Yonkers. And afterwards, this brother came up to me. He's like, yo, magic nigga, come here. That shit you were saying about Game of Thrones is funny, right? But up in the hood, we don't have HBO. So we don't know what you talk about. And I was like, brother, all it takes is one dude in the hood to have an HBO Go password. And the whole project wins. Magic and Sopranos for everybody. Let's do this shit. I love TV now. I love getting high watching TV. That's the best thing, man. I recently rediscovered this American treasure, Scooby-Doo. But Scooby-Doo's on some fucked up shit. So we all know Scooby-Doo, we know Scrappy-Doo, right? We all familiar with these two characters. Scooby talks like, Scrappy's like, puppy power! What the fuck? They're from the same family. Like, why are they like this? And I've come to the conclusion, granted I was really fucking high when I came to this conclusion, Scooby is deaf. Don't believe me, they run around this damn mansion, Shaggy be like, all right, Scooby, gotta go to the left. Scooby like, oh! And if you go to the right, you fuck shit up. Because he couldn't hear it. The Mystery Machine needs Obamacare is what I'm trying to say. Funniest thing about that show is when the villains are all like, yo, weren't for these pesky kids, I would have gone away with it. It's like, no, if it weren't for common sense. You got busted by 4 hippies and a disabled dog. All they do is get high and go to a museum. It's your fault you were running around in a fucking lobster costume and thought nobody was going to be like, I think there's some shady shit going over there. We should investigate. That's their problem, man. Their problem. A lot of weird shit. Like, I talked about my height, man. Like, I got these Air Maxes. They're like platform shoes for brothers. Like, gives me confidence, though, you know what I mean? Like, because I learned at an early age, height brings confidence. My grandfather, who I mentioned, 6'7", 280 pounds. He's a former football player. And we were, when I was 7 years old, he took me to a Detroit Tigers baseball game. And this midget in front of us was swearing. He did not like that at all. He did not like this midget swearing in front of his grandson. And he's told the guy, he's like, hey, little man, you need to calm down before something bad happens. Midget looks up at him like, what you gonna do, old man? My grandfather stood up and said, you better calm the fuck down before I'll pop you on the head and break your knees. And I was like, that's crazy confidence. My family's crazy. My family really is crazy, though, man. My mom, she always wanted me to do different things. She took me to Alaska one summer because she forgot we were black. Took me on a 7-day cruise. At one point, I'm 16 years old. I found myself in Anchorage, Alaska. At the most inopportune time, stereotypical shit happens. I get a hunger for some fried chicken. But I don't know where to go. I'm wandering around Anchorage by myself. Found myself in a hunting store. Dude, looking like Duck Dynasty, surrounded by guns and animal heads at the counter. I'm going up to him like, hey, sir, you know where I can find some fried chicken around here? This gentleman takes a hunting rifle from under the counter, puts it on top of the counter and says, yeah, go back the way you came. I'm like, oh, shit. Alaska's really racist. Turns out I went back up the way I came. I passed the Popeyes. He wasn't racist. He was one-man GPS. You guys spent a lot of fun on Brandon Collins. Thanks so much.
All right, Brandon Collins.